Why aren't there more of a rush of people scooping up real estate? There have been signs of life in housing, but certainly not a boom. Fred Gleck is with me. He's president of U.S. Loans Mortgage, and Diana Olick also with us on the heels of that report. Thanks for sticking around, Diana. Fred, the Fed's undertaken all this action to push interest rates low. Mortgage rates hitting another record low yesterday. Why aren't you seeing more of a rush of home buyers to get in there?
Well, I think people, are scared. They've been hearing that you can't get a mortgage. And it's true. There's a lot of people who just can't get a mortgage for very crazy reasons, and then very logical reasons, such as, there's no more no-doc loans, stated income loans like we had years ago, and there's still people who haven't filed 2 years of, I'll call them legitimate tax returns to be able to qualify for a loan. But also in some markets, rentals are still reasonable, and it's just easier to rent rather than try to buy and then go through the hassles of getting an appraisal that gets knocked down by $20,000, $30,000 from an appraiser from 30 miles away who doesn't know the market.
Yep.
That's the start of this.
Diana, are the banks at a point that they want to take up the lending volume a bit more? People complain that it's harder to get a mortgage, and yet the banks are saying they are lending.
Yeah, the banks are definitely lending, and they're actually making record profits right now, and that seems counterintuitive. But when you look at it, yes, record low mortgage rates, but there is a very tight constraints on lending, as we talked about. So not everybody is getting those great rates, not to mention that capacity at the large lenders is really strained. So again, they're not lowering the rates quite as low as they could. In fact, some are saying that they should be passing on more of the savings from we're seeing in their borrowing costs to the borrower, but they're still not. And so they're making better profits. But again, sure, they need the volume, but they have a lot of volume in refinances right now. What we want to see is more of that purchase application volume, and that is what we're not seeing right now.
Yeah, what is going to move the needle, Fred, in terms of really getting this market going? What are you waiting for to really see traction?
I am thinking that we really have to get a definitive confirmation of confidence in the economy. Everybody's saying, yeah, things feel better, but it's not perfect yet. And
also, there's no urgency, right? I mean, if the Fed is telling us that rates are going to stay at rock bottom levels till 2015, then I don't have to rush into the market now. I've got till 2015.
Yeah, that and the fact that your house is basically now worth what it was worth in 2004 before the few years of psycho fraud happened. So people aren't saying buy, buy, buy because this is a super investment and it's going to go up 10% a year like they did a few years ago. So yeah, people are waiting for the right house. There's people I've had as buyers who have waited a year to find the right house. Yeah, they paid a little more for it, but it was worth the wait. People are picky too.
Yeah, and Diana, there's just no urgency.
Right, there is, and no urgency. I was just talking to an investor today, actually, in single-family rentals, and what he was talking to me about was this fundamental shift in attitudes toward home ownership. It's just not what it used to be. A lot of potential buyers out there are saying, I can rent a single-family home, and even though, home sale prices are lower and affordability is supposedly better, I don't have to deal with the mortgage. I don't have to deal with the upkeep on this home. Someone else can do it, and most of all, I don't have to worry about any more price depreciation if I just rent for several years. And he says he's got a 4-month waiting list of people who want to rent single-family homes. These are families in good neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's a great point, Diana. But Fred, I mean, don't you think we're going to look back on this period and say, wow, remember when we could have gotten a mortgage for 30 years at 3%? I mean, it's crazy, the level of rates.
Okay, I'll point out how old I am. I'm old enough to remember when rates were at 13 and 11, and then went down to 10 and 8. And people at 8, I had people falling out of trees buying houses at 8%. The whole point is they had the confidence. The prices were lower when the rates were higher. That's the problem. What we're going to see is when we have the inflation of the rates that have to go back up, we may see the prices go down because the income levels are only at the same places they're going to be, and your affordability index has to stay within a window. Yep. One other thing I just wanted to add, one other thing is when you go out today to, let's say, a Home Depot and you buy stuff for your house, it's a lot more expensive than it was, say, 5 years ago. So once you buy your house, maintaining that house is getting very expensive. expensive, and that's another reason to go and rent.
Okay. All right. We'll keep watching this. At some point, this market has to bottom. I know that a lot of people think we have bottomed, but it seems like we're just bumping along the bottom for some time. Thanks, Diana. Fred, good to see you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Maria.
It is the government dependency soundbite that has gone viral in 24 hours. Listen to this.
Everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obama phone.
Obama phones. She's talking about a real government program that subsidizes cell phones for the poor. And guess what?